Start your tape right now, because I'm about to tell you the truth. And F you if you can't handle the truth. This version of Biden is the best Biden ever.
She knows so long as she was 9.
In fact, I think he's better than he's ever been.
President Biden has a photographic memory. His understanding and mastery of a complicated geopolitical situation, remarkable.
He is sharp, intensely probing, and detail-oriented and focused.
Jackie, are you here? Where's Jackie? I didn't think she was going to be here.
I would say about this.
Right.
It's just like, this guy is not a hard case.
But I've had relatives who have gone through issues, neurological issues, and
he said this guy is not a hard case.
To clarify Sungmin's question,
sure.
I mean, how is it that the president was still tired 12 days after returning from Europe, had a cold, but then went to the Waffle House, and then the following day staged such a huge comeback that he gave those North Carolina remarks? Like, help us understand.
Have you had a cold before?
Of course I've had a cold before.
So you probably, well, come on, Jackie. Let's be very, let's be.
12 days after he returned, though.
But
and
you
he blamed
also,
jet lag yesterday.
Hold on a second. There's a cold, there's a jet lag. You combine that. He continues to work for the American people day in and day out, around the clock. Things happen.
Ever since Biden's failed debate with Donald Trump, the mainstream media has turned on him. They've gotten a new order. They need to take Biden's down. And guess what? They've been trying to do exactly that. And I think what you're about to see right now is, I can't believe this is actually happening on NBC News. Anyway, a neurologist is going to speak about Biden's health. Friends, wait till you hear what this man has to say. I was like, oh my goodness. Yo, he's going to bless your heart. Anyway, friends, link in the description below. Like and subscribe to the page. Click the bell icon for more. Let's get to this video.
To talk more about those 8 White House visits by the Parkinson's expert, I'm joined tonight by Dr. Tom Pitts. He's a quadruple board-certified neurologist. He sees patients with Parkinson's all the time. He diagnoses it. I want to be completely transparent here. You've never examined President Biden. From my knowledge, you've never even spoken yet to President Biden?
Been in the
yeah,
room
and we're just going to use what we have so far, which is what we've seen, the president's interviews, and the information coming out of the White House. Sure. So my first question to you is, as somebody who's a neurologist, what you've seen from the president over the last 2 years, what you saw at the debate, the last few interviews, the way he speaks, the way maybe he walks, have you noticed anything that gives you a red flag as a doctor?
Oh, yeah, I see him 20 times a day in clinic. I mean, it's ironic because he has just such classic features of neurodegeneration. I mean, word-finding difficulties, and that's not, I couldn't find the word. That's from degeneration of the word retrieval area.
He's also overcome stuttering, though. Could that be part of that, too?
No, this is not a palatal issue or a speech discrepancy, which is very different from a lemino dysfunction, actual word retrieval, where you pick a similar question or talk around the issue, plus the rigidity, monotone voice.
Wait, go back to that, the rigidity. What do you mean?
Rigidity, loss of arm swing, standing up lordotically. You notice when he turns, it's kind of end block turning. It's not a quick turn. So that's one of the hallmarks of Parkinsonism is rigidity and bradykinesia, slow move.
Wow, that is so spot on. That is so amazing. It's crazy because my wife is a nurse. She said, without hearing any of this, she said, oh yeah, Biden has Parkinson's. She's a nurse. Anyway, she's been doing this for 20 years, so she can pick it up from a mile away. She's like, oh yeah, he has Parkinson's and probably early stage of dementia. I was like, wow. Exactly.
That's one of the hallmarks of Parkinsonism is rigidity and bradykinesia, slow movement. And he has that hallmark, especially with the low voice that said was a cold, hypophonia, a small monotone voice like this over time.
That's when Biden is whispering, right? That's amazing. Let's keep listening.
A monotone voice like this over time is a hallmark of Parkinsonism. I could have diagnosed him from across the mall.
Here are some of the symptoms from Parkinson's. We just had them up there on the screen. If we can put them back. What about the movement? Some people have pointed out the way he walks. Sometimes it's not very fast, small steps. Is that something that is common in people who are battling a disease like Parkinson's?
Yeah, it's a hallmark. Shuffling gait, we call that, so little steps. Loss of arm swing from the rigidity. When we walk, we have a nice cadence. You notice he doesn't really swing his arms. And end block turning, meaning he kind of pivots around his foot. If you said, hey, President Biden, he wouldn't go like this. So, yeah.
But I also know, tell me if I'm wrong here, it's very hard to diagnose Parkinson's, isn't it? It's not simple. I mean, I've heard that it can be.
It's one of the easier movement disorders to diagnose, actually.
Right,
but it's so clinic. There's very little other. And I'm a Democrat. I always say about this.
Right.
It's just like this guy is not a hard case.
But I've had relatives who have gone through neurological issues, and
He said this guy is not a hard case. Yo, you talking about the president of the United States, bro? You can't be talking about our president like that. What is wrong with you? He said this guy is not a hard case.
This guy is not a hard case.
But I've had relatives who have gone through neurological issues, and I've heard that sometimes Parkinson's is not very easy to nail. You have to take a lot of tests.
It's early on. If you're just presented with like hallucinations, that could be a variety of things, or just the cognitive problems. That could be Alzheimer's versus Parkinsonism, and that becomes a little nebulous. But once you start manifesting the hallmark motor symptoms,
right?
Slow movement, rigidity, mass facies, hypophonia. I mean, if a med student did not pick Parkinson's on the test, they'd be remediated.
So let me ask you: if you had,
he's good.
If you had,
Parkinson's on the test, facies, hypophonia. I mean, if a med student did not pick Parkinson's on the test, they'd be remediated.
So let me ask you.
Anyway, I'm having too much fun. Let's keep listening.
If you had, and I know you have no idea what happened in the White House, but a neurologist coming 8 times in 8 months, does that tell you anything? Is that? I mean, I know you're just sort of speculating here, but does that tell you anything or no?
Well, I mean, I don't know if they're like the best of friends or something, but that's a very specific, he's a movement disorder. That's a subspecialist in exactly what he has. And there's very few young people, like a Marine Guard. Most people would be med boarded out for any type of movement disorder at a young age. Like if you had Huntington's, chorea, early onset Parkinson's, dystonia, bad essential tremor, you're usually med boarded out. So I highly doubt there's.
What does that mean, med boarded out?
Med boarded, mean the military would not let you, if you have seizures, for example, you cannot usually be in the military. That is, you are
so
medical
you're saying you don't necessarily believe, and they're not saying this, but they said there's thousands of military members that go to the White House that are treated there for health reasons.
Yeah.
You're not buying that that's a random military person.
No, that would be very odd to just see a random movement disorder case at the White House, especially a young guard. There aren't many young people that have movement disorders that could be in the military.
And then, a lot of people have called for a cognitive test. What exactly would that entail? What does that mean?
Now, that's the key, because word finding retrieval doesn't necessarily mean you don't know what you want to say. What I cannot comment on is his ability to make good decisions. His motor symptoms are degenerating. He has Parkinsonism. That is a fact. He has degeneration of the brain. Show me the MRI. Show me he doesn't.
He has Parkinson's. That is a fact.
On is his ability to make good decisions. His motor symptoms are degenerating. He has Parkinsonism. That is a fact. He has degeneration of the brain.
Golly.
Show me the MRI. Show me he doesn't. Put your money where your mouth is. He definitely has it. But
show me the MRI. Listen, remember months ago we were saying stuff like this. They call this conspiracy theory deep fake.
There seems to be a sort of rash of videos that have been edited to make the president appear especially frail or mentally confused. I'm wondering if the White House is especially worried about the fact that this appears to be a pattern that we're seeing more often.
Yeah, and I think you all have called this the cheap fakes video, and that's exactly what they are. They are.
With Donald Trump on facts, on issues, on you name it. Because they have to keep engaging in cheap fakes to try to make Joe Biden look bad. And this weekend, they've done it over the past several weeks. They've got the New York Post doing it, the RNC's doing it, all of these right-wing stooges on X are doing it. And if you have to make stuff up, you got to make stuff up. Obviously, you don't feel like you have a strong enough campaign to win outright.
But now they're throwing Biden under the bus. Listen, they have another plan. There is a plan. Biden's got to go. That's what's happening here. And by the way, I'm just enjoying the show. But it's very obvious that they got something else happening. So Biden's not part of the plan anymore.
But the problem is when you look at his situation, you can't say, oh, I know for a fact that because he didn't retrieve the word, he didn't know what he wanted to say. And that's why both him and Trump should take the 4-hour neuropsychological testing, which is the hallmark test.
I think Trump will do just fine. Trump will do just fine. The man has been speaking in different rallies without a teleprompter for, I mean, come on now. Not even close. That's like a poor comparison. But they should do it. I think he will look good on paper. But Biden will not show up. I doubt it, friends. I doubt it.
Should take the 4-hour neuropsychological testing, which is the hallmark test for cognitive performance.
What do you do in this test?
A lot of things. So, for example, they may have you say as many words as you can in a minute that start with F. Block building, retrieval. I may say cup and have you recall it 3 minutes later. Trail drawing. These are done with a professional PhD in neuropsychology. Has nothing to do with psychiatry. And we can tell if you have vascular.
It's 4 hours long?
4 hours. It's a full day. We tell people bring a snack. It is a full day. And so not the MOCA, which was a bedside test that President Trump took. These are tests that are screening tests. They don't rule in, if you do great.
There's no way to sort of lie in this test, to sort of ace it even though you're sick.
No way. This one it will come out in the wash. For example, if I do the bedside exam to an accountant and I ask them, what's 100 minus 7? Even the worst neurodegenerative patient, if they worked at a high education level or something like that, is going to get that right. But in the 4-hour test, it will come out.
Finally, I mean, you said you're a Democrat, you're a doctor. You sound like you're frustrated with what the White House is saying.
Yeah.
Why?
Well, because, I'm an American before everything. And I look at it and say, when I used to see Russia, Soviet Union, North Korea.
You guys, I appreciate the answer. But again, now you're coming out to say this? Like, what took you so long?
Soviet Union, North Korea, when they just make outrageous things, like when North Korea can't keep the lights on and they say, it was some faulty power thing. I kind of hate that kind of stuff. They had 4 years. My own party had 4 years to find, this was a wreck in slow motion. And they had 4 years to find out of 350 Americans, one person that could take the place. And here we are the day before school trying to do the homework and replace a guy who's got a neurodegenerative disease.
Dr. Pitts, we thank you for joining Top Story. And again, I know you've never examined President Biden. I want to say that you've never spoken to President Biden, but you're going off what you've seen on television and interviews.
Guys, listen, NBC is bringing a neurologist expert to examine Biden. That's when they are done with him. They are done. Even though Biden refuses to drop. But guess what, friends? They're telling you this is over. It's over. Well, friends, I'm not shocked. But again, I do feel sorry for Biden because as a human being, apart from the fact, I don't like his presidency, okay? It's horrible. Bad decisions after bad ones, okay? He put America last. It's some of the things that he's done to this country I have no respect for. But as an individual, I kind of wish he would just go and take some rest and literally him and his wife enjoy the rest of their lives. They should not be in the presidency. When he called Morning Joe the other day and started talking about how he can just do this and do that, I was thinking to myself, like, who give him these talking points to be talking to Morning Joe about? And again, those Joe Scarborough, and they have no backbones either. They say one thing today, and next moment they change their minds. It's kind of like it shows you how the media is bought and sold by the powers that be, if you know what I mean.
Okay, so you have repeatedly said that all of these people and entities are wrong. And let me go through them. The New York Times editorial board, The Economist, the Atlanta Journal-Constitution, the Boston Globe, Jerry Nadler, Seth Moulton. Let me go to Julian Castro, Tim Ryan, David Axelrod, David Remnick, Richard Haas. Yeah, I know which one you're responding to there. Zeke Emanuel. But they are saying that you should step aside. So what is your plan of attack moving forward? These are pretty big names.
To go out and keep doing their big names, but I don't care what those big names think. They're wrong in 2020. They're wrong in 2022 about the red wave. They're wrong in 2024. And come out with me. Watch people react. You make a judgment.
But again, the fact that they're turning on Biden in the way that they are, it tells you everything you need to know. They are done with him. I am not making fun of the Biden's health. I know this is a very serious thing, and I don't wish that on my worst enemy. But to say this man should be running our country, to say that he is safe, that's the other side of the extreme, man. But it's pretty amazing watching the media doing what they do. This is what the media should have been doing a long time ago. This is what they were trying to do to Trump. They should have been doing this to Biden. Listen, they should have been doing this kind of work. But since they now have another plan in place, they're doing this because there's something else they're working on. It's very obvious Biden's going to have to go. There's no way he could last. I don't know if Kamala Harris is the girl. Gavin Newsom, not a good look. I don't know, man. Do they have anybody else? They didn't have a primary. So that cost them big time. What are they going to do? Big win for Trump. They rigged the election against themselves. They were so determined to take Trump down that they themselves end up cutting their own heads off. Anyway, that's why I love how Trump is reacting to this. He is saying nothing. He just stays quiet. Just let it ride. Let it ride. Your enemy is just fighting against itself. Your enemy is making mistakes. Don't get in his way. Just let him do his thing. This is why MAGA is going forward and doing what they do. Listen, man, America first. Biden's got to go. Bring Trump back. Trump 2024. Have a good one. Bye.